Welcome to Eurosport's continuing coverage of the 1992 FIA World Formula One Championship. You'll join us at the 50th Monaco Grand Prix, qualifying on Thursday, not Friday as at most Grand Prix, but Thursday and Saturday, the race on Sunday, of course. 2.068 mile circuit round the houses. Williams have won here 3 times, and before you reach for your record books, the Williams team only twice in 1980 and 1983, but Williams, the driver, won the first one in 1929, driving a Bugatti. English expatriate William Grover, who died a resistance hero in World War II, chose the pseudonym to hide his true identity from his disapproving family. The circuit's changed very little since then. We're looking at the McLaren pits during the warm-up for qualifying, first official qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. There is Gerhard Berger, and in front of him, the steering wheel of the McLaren, showing the automatic gear change, the pull levers up on one side, down on the other. McLaren still struggling to find form. It's won this race 7 times in the past 8 years. And the one which escaped them in 1987 was taken by none other than this man, Ayrton Senna, driving for Lotus. Pre-qualifying, Andrea Moda finally made it. Roberto Moreno qualified the car in pre-qualifying. Michele Alboreto, Bertrand Gachot, Roberto Moreno and Andrea Chiesa making the break, eliminated Ukoyo Katayama of Venturi Lamborghini, and very sadly for British race fans, Perry McCarthy in the second Andrea Moda. Sad for Katayama as well, he's 29 years old tomorrow. No birthday present for him. Pre-qualifying changes after the French Grand Prix, when the teams who've got points, which obviously include footwork, will no longer have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do this work. Frank Williams there overseeing his winning team. Incredible performance this year, 5 wins in 5 races. Riccardo Patrese girding himself up for battle here on this very tight street circuit, the tightest circuit of the year. Very slow lap record, 92 miles an hour pole position, the outright record 88 miles an hour. Prost in Ferrari, Senna taking the qualifying pole, 1:23.44. We're looking at our man Nigel Mansell going around the circuit. It's been resurfaced in some places, here from Casino Square down to the tunnel, resurfaced, and again on the harbour front. Mansell just getting warmed up this morning. Mansell's never won this race. He was second last year and 4th in both 1982 and 1986. He was leading for Lotus in 1984 when he crashed in the wet. Yet he's told us, "I've always loved this circuit, especially because it's so tight and precise." He's had 1 pole position, he's been on the front row. Monaco's most winning driver, he took 5 wins between 63 and 69, although both Alain Prost and Ayrton Senna have now won it 4 times each. Mansell flying off on that lap. We saw the new section there from Piscine to Rascasse. The clock's on Mansell, but I don't think this is going to be a fast one. He just bangs the guardrail there, as behind him Martin Brundle, 4th at Imola 2 weeks ago, passes him going up the hill towards Casino Square. Mansell just bedding everything in, checking it out. They're all on Goodyear tyres, the same tyres. They're all D-compound tyres this weekend, softer than the C-compound. No pit stops anticipated by Goodyear, who've bought 1,900 tyres to this meeting. So Mansell just taking it easy, cruising round, as we join the current hero, Jean Alesi, and the 27 Ferrari. The same number Gilles Villeneuve had when Ferrari last won here, which was way back in 1981, 11 years ago. Very sore point for Ferrari, who've been in the desert ever since, really. This race almost on the board with Italy. They'd dearly love to win it, passing one of the Tyrrells there. So Alesi, who really shone when we saw him in action at Imola. He was reprimanded by the stewards after an incident with Brundle, but he came back fighting. One of the strongest drivers now of the year in terms of personality, character. He is 27 years old, he's driving number 27. Parents are Sicilian, he lives in France. This will be his 44th Grand Prix. He was the 1989 International Formula 3000 champion. And there's a big moment for Häkkinen. Mika Häkkinen has gone off there in the Lotus. He's taken the wing off, and that's on the slippery new section at the Rascasse. You can see the resurfacing there, where the heat, the 23-degree heat today, is bringing the moisture out of the track. We see Gugelmin go through, Maurizio Gugelmin. So we're going to leave Mika Häkkinen walking back to the pits as we take a quick break. Please rejoin us for the rest of qualifying. Nigel Mansell in qualifying today at Monaco, on a real flyer this year. First and second at Imola Williams, 6 wins in a row he's looking for this weekend. Monaco suiting the FW14B with its active suspension and its auto gear change very well indeed. Maurizio Gugelmin there in the Jordan, the Sasol Jordan. Still looking for Nigel Mansell on one of these quick laps he's doing. But a lot of traffic already this hour of the morning, 26 cars on the track. Until 1987, only 20 cars. Well, that was a big moment for Gugelmin. He spun off there at Raskas. That new surface has caught him out as well, just as we saw with Hakkinen a minute ago. The commissars, the marshals here at Monaco, probably amongst the best in the world, along with the British. In fact, a number of them are British. Getting him right. Ayrton Senna waiting to go out. Ayrton Senna, 3 times world champion, still struggling to get this new car working. MP47 with its Honda V12 engine, no active suspension yet, not due until Canada probably, but it has that semi-automatic gear change. Senna was third at Imola when Berger crashed out. You remember, we saw on Eurosport as Berger tried to take Alesi, the 2 tangled, put them both out of the race. But Senna has won this race 4 times, would dearly love to do it a 5th time, but whether or not he can do it this year remains to be seen. A very tight circuit, very fired up this year though. Done a lot of work on this car. Senna throwing the Marlboro McLaren around Monaco with vengeance, just taking his warm-up lap at the moment, down the hill. Riding with Martin Brundle now, Britain's Martin Brundle in the Camel Benetton. Through the chicane, going down to the back corner where in 1984 Martin crashed the Tyrrell, turned the car over, didn't race. I was there, I remember it very well, a horrific accident. Very lucky to escape being hurt. Through the Pachine section, past the swimming pool. There's the new surface we're just going on to now, past the fishermen's garages, round Raskas, a very, very tight hairpin. Raskas into Anthony Noge corner, named after the local tobacconist who founded the circuit in 1929. And there's Martin Brundle doing a half lap for us, rejoining Ayrton Senna. Must seem this year for Senna that he can do nothing right. Everything he's tried seems to be going wrong. 131 Grand Prix, 32 years old. He's had 33 wins, 60 pole positions, been 3 times world champion. At the moment, still trying to get to grips with this new car, the fly-by-wire McLaren. Noise echoing off these apartments all around Monaco. If you wanted to hire one this weekend, it's going to cost you a lot of money. We're told 3 rooms and a balcony at Sandovo, which has just been past, £40,000 for the week. If you want a boat in the harbour, £10,000. All this, of course, is quite immaterial to Ayrton Senna. Down the hill he goes, into Mirabeau, heading down towards Lois. Round Lois hairpin in front of the hotel, heading down to the tunnel. Comes out of the tunnel. Fastest part of the circuit from the tunnel into the chicane, where last year they were touching 177 miles an hour. We're told it's more this year. Hope we'll see some time soon. Into the port section, past the piscine, the swimming pool. Into the new surface, braking hard for Raskas. And there we are back with Martin Brundle. Martin Brundle riding it still. Formula One has been evasive. He's raced 88 events. This is 89th. He was 4th at Imola, but he's yet to win a race. Benetton choosing to use the Series 7 HB Ford engine here. It's been slightly altered to give more mid-range power, which they need. So Benetton with this man Martin Brundle and Martin Schumacher, his teammate, the stunning German discovery, 23 years old, could well be in chance for victory here this weekend. Back with Ayrton Senna, producers jumping around the field a bit. Ayrton Senna climbing over the curb there, most uncharacteristic, but remember this car does not have active suspension. It's very, very tough around here, very bumpy. When you recall how tired Senna was after Imola, he had to We lifted out of the car 20 minutes after the race, dehydrated, physically drained. Found it all very, very hard work. He doesn't have the luxury of active suspension, which Mansell and Patrese have. Up that long, long climb up to the casino, and he's done fastest lap. Fastest lap at the moment to Ayrton Senna, 1:21.531. That's what Mansell's going to have to aim for. It's a very, very good performance there by Senna. Most impressive. Brazilian flinging that McLaren with its Honda V12 through the tunnel. Goes past one of the Lotuses. And we're looking at Ayrton Senna, trying to beat Ayrton Senna at the moment. He's been very lucky. He's had a fairly traffic-free run around the circuit. At this point of the circuit, he's minus 200ths per second, better than his previous lap. Tricky part of the circuit, this. Very, very hard work. There's left, right, left, right, left, right complex into this hairpin. Round Rascasse. Through Anthony Noge and back onto the start-finish straight. And Senna doesn't quite beat his previous time, so 21.53 still stands as the mark people have to beat. That's compared with Senna's own pole position last year of 1:20.344. Now remember, they don't have qualifying tires this year. Also remember, it's the first day of qualifying on a street circuit, very dirty, dusty, slippery. Also being resurfaced. There he is, just going onto that new section of surfacing down to Mirabeau, which accounts for those slightly slower times at the moment. That was Michele Alboreto in the footwork we saw, the man who had to pre-qualify early this morning. And there at the moment, Senna, Mansell, Patrese, Alesi, De Cesaris, Modena, Schumacher and Brundle filling the top 8. What a good performance by Martin Brundle again. But we're not even halfway through qualifying yet, so let's see what's going to happen further down the field. Gasho, Alboreto, Capelli, Suzuki, Morbidelli. And we're riding a game with Nigel Mansell. He's seen what Senna's done. He is not happy about that at all. Mansell getting ready for attack. Crossing the start-finish line. The only open pits, of course, of the European part of the World Championship. Yellow flags there at Casino, and there, coming down rather than going up, is Gerhard Berger's McLaren. He's had a big accident. He's wiped a front wheel off, a rear wheel's hanging off. He swapped ends at an incredible speed, 270 kilometers an hour, we're told. Hit the barriers, and Berger, although he's walked away from it, has definitely lost his race car. So already Monaco living it up to its reputation. There's the casino, there's the Hermitage Hotel on the right. That's where Berger went off. Mansell having to bend to those yellow flags there. Take another run at that lap. It's 182 miles an hour, we calculate. Much faster than last year, 5 miles an hour faster. And Mansell, there we are, as we suspected, it's a slower lap, 6 seconds slower. Had to back right off. Let's see what he can do on this flying one. He's on the attack again. Riding with Nigel Mansell, Stefano Modena following him in the Jordan. And Mansell quicker at this point, quicker at Mirabeau. Around Lois hairpin. Quicker here as well, quicker all around the circuit. Look at that. Into Rascasse. This is the combination of corners you have to get just right. It's so bumpy here and so slippery. There's cars in front. They're not going to block him. He's coming up to the start-finish line. Across the timing beams. Can he do it? 21.467. He's got... No, he can't quite do it. So, after that lap, let's see what happens after the break. Please rejoin us. First qualifying, we're riding in car with Ivan Capelli in his Ferrari. Capelli not a very happy man this week. He was laid off for a week by Ferrari. They took on other test drivers to test the car. Fiorano said he had anemia and eyesight problems, which Capelli is strictly denied. feels he's been made a scapegoat for the problems that Ferrari have been suffering lately. So, as we said, the last victory at Monaco was 81 for Ferrari. And in fact, their last Grand Prix win was 1990 in Spain with Alain Prost. So a lot for Ferrari to have to live up to at the moment. And here we are, Gerhard Berger in the McLaren. He's got his spare car out. Never mind, he threw the other car to wall, ripped 2 wheels off it. Here he's in a new car. He's out again, and he's fast in that car. 290.5 kilometers after the tunnel. That's very, very quick indeed. Almost on par with Mansell. Shows that the Honda V12 has certainly got the grunt. But can he match Senna's time? Senna's still fastest at the moment. Mansell obviously biding his time, just seeing if he can find a gap in the traffic to go out and have a quick blast round. Riding with Gerhard Berger, the Viennese-born driver. He now lives at Vogel, 32 years old, 120 Grand Prix. He's had 6 wins, 8 pole positions, and he'd dearly love to help put McLaren back on the map. Mirabeau through the tunnel, into Rascasse, round Rascasse, putting all the power down as he comes out there, lift off slightly again for Anthony Noge, and then back on the... Where is he? He's gone? We've lost Berger. De Cesaris comes through in the turbo. Where's Berger? Here he comes. He must have had a spin, a quick tête à queue, as the French like to call it. That spoiled his lap, unfortunately. Put the power down too quickly on the coming off the slippery knee off centre. At the moment, Nigel Mansell on provisional pole, where he and Williams firmly believe he belongs all this year. And Mansell going for it again. You think he'd have backed off then? No, but he's going for another one. Remember, on these Goodyear tires, no qualifying tires, they can run a race distance in qualifying. Just keep going and going and going until you get the fastest lap. And Mansell's already got the fastest lap, but being Nigel Mansell, he wants to go even faster. Down the hill into Mirabeau, and he locks the brakes up. It's a huge lock up there. Trails of black rubber, smoke off the car. That must cost him time. I can't believe he's going to make a fast lap after that. A big mistake for Mansell. Comes through the tunnel. That's Paul Belmondo in front of him, which is the reason they run qualifying Thursday. Guaranteed a huge crowd here. Sunshine, 23 degrees. It's been cloudy, the sun's out again. Mansell still going for it. He's made that big mistake at Mirabeau, but can he? And he's beaten it. 0.385 a second, despite that great big locking up and being slower in the tunnel. He's beaten his own time. There is the provisional pole, 1:20.714. What a superb performance, but one can only imagine what time he'd have done without that locking up. And he's going for it again. You think earlier. So despite being slower through the tunnel than Senna, he's taken pole position. He's improved on his own time, provisional pole position, because of course we have qualifying on Saturday, but by then it could be raining. Jean Alesi again we're looking at. He said that he's being cautious after Imola, but he's had a spin already. Throwing that 27 Ferrari around. Ferrari just need a win here at Monaco this weekend, so close to home. Capelli rolls into the pits in the second Ferrari, the onboard camera, and there is JJ Leto. He stopped the Dallara Ferrari in the tunnel. Looks like an engine problem, not a good place to stop. So Dallara rolled to a halt in the tunnel. At the moment he's looking safe, he's 19th fastest. And there, in fact, as qualifying finishes, we see the times. Mansell on provisional pole, Senna alongside him, Patrese Berger on the second row, Alesi Schumacher third row, De Cesaris and Gasho on the fourth row. What a good performance by Andrea De Cesaris. Looking further down the grid, Michele Alboreto, 9th fastest for footwork. What a brilliant performance again. The man who finished 5th in the last 2 Grand Prix. Capelli alongside him, Brundle and Modena side by side. A good performance by Modena there, who's been showing a lack of form lately. Wendlinger, Gugelmin, next row Suzuki and Griard. There on the 8th row. Looking further down, Morbidelli and Comas, 17th and 18th fastest. Comas and Leto. There we are, it's coming up. Comas, Leto, Moreno, Boots and Tarquini, Martini, Eric van der Poel. Manu hasn't always managed to qualify this year. And there's the cut. Fittipaldi, Häkkinen on the bubble. Johnny Herbert, Belmondo, Damon Hill, son of Graham Hill, and Andrea Chiesa failing to make the grid at the moment. They do have another chance on Saturday. Damon Hill would dearly love to start this race, which his father, as you heard earlier, has won 5 times. So that's Monaco, first qualifying.